Hi there, I'm Chim Onyebilama, your host. Thanks for joining us today. Today marks our 1-year anniversary. Hallelujah. As we look back this past 12 months, our hearts are full of thanksgiving as we look at all God has done. When we started this ministry, we had to step out of our boats and walk on water, literally. We had a clear vision, but we had nobody and we had no resources. But as we stepped out of our boats, God showed up. What a privilege to be used by God. We have been blessed by the way He has brought the right people to serve with us. There are several people who work behind the scenes to make this ministry possible. I thank all of them, both in Lagos and in South Africa and other countries. But I want to especially mention two of these people. First is my dear friend of over 30 years, Austin Awolono, who is a film director and who not only directs most of this production, but also provides the backbone we needed to start with and to carry on. Thanks, oh boy. And then there's Sean. Sean is our director for post-production. He's a man who doesn't like to be in front of the camera. But what he does behind the camera is what keeps us going. And what he does with everything that comes from the camera, Sean, I want to thank you so much. You've been a big blessing to this. Do you want to say something? Sean doesn't like to talk. Yeah, I mean, that is how we've worked and that's how we roll. We also want to thank every one of you, our viewers. Thank you for standing with us. When we mentioned our coming anniversary some weeks back, some of you sent us messages and here are some of them.
I love your program so much. It has become a great blessing to me and my family. It has encouraged me to do more in missions and to win more souls for the kingdom of God. I look forward and I wish you more years of great things and winning souls for God's kingdom. God bless you.
Wow, already a year into chimstalk Africa. I am in awe of the work that God has done through this show into our lives. Thank you for spreading the message of the kingdom of God into all the spheres of society. You have tackled issues that we often don't get enough airtime on in our churches. So, my friend, I want to say you have done well and may God take you from strength to strength. Well done on your first anniversary of chimstalk Africa.
Happy anniversary, chimstalk Africa. Your program has been a great source of inspiration to youths, to elderly ones, and to everyone. We love you so much. We like the way you talk about Jesus and His kingdom. We like the way you preach about Christ. We wish you many more years, many more achievements, and many more blessings. Thank you. God bless you.
We really feel like all we have done so far is our very first step. We believe that God is bringing us to a wide space where we can do more. Our vision remains the same, to provoke conversations that will lead to actions around the pressing issues facing Africa today. We want to help Christians around Africa to get God's perspective on the issues facing Africa so as to rightly understand and properly engage our times as the salt and light we're called to be. We will be bringing you more engaging guests and topics in the coming months. We're going to be multiplying our reach into many more channels. We're trusting God for our YouTube channel to grow to 100,000 subscribers by the end of next year. So here is praise to God for the first year, and we ask for your prayers for the coming years. Now, let's go to my guest today, Mrs. Ibukun Odushote, a pioneer of the internet in Nigeria. And don't go away, because what she has to say about how we can leverage on this new technology to do our mission is important. Please don't go away. Thank you so much for that warm welcome, and welcome their viewers at home to this segment of our interview. Like I said in the intro to this show of today, my guest is Reverend Mrs. Ibukun Odushote. She is the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment in Nigeria, and you've been a Permanent Secretary for about 7 different ministries in Nigeria.
Yes.
I know you were in Greek and communication,
yes,
and over the years you've been in several others.
Yes, please.
And Mrs. Odushote is a reverend because she's an ordained minister of the gospel with the Foursquare Gospel Church in Nigeria. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You know, what is first of all fascinating for me is that we talk about the fourth industrial revolution. And Mrs. Odushote is known to be the pioneer, the one that helped to get the .ng, which is the internet platform for the whole of Nigeria. How did this come about?
It was in the course of duty. It was just doing what we were doing and doing it right that got me involved in some projects about networking. And then from that project, we went on to internet. And then the very first set of internet pioneers were drawn together to a place called Pisa in Italy. And then we had some training to be able to know how to do the initial connections that we had on email and different kinds of things.
Which year was this?
The very first time that we started was in 1993. And then we went on like that until where we are today. So the number of people that came from the various institutions in Africa were put together, and then we became the administrative point of contact for the top-level domains in our various countries. Okay. And I was there for Nigeria. So I became the administrative point of contact for Nigeria on the internet. That's the .ng.
You know why I laugh? As the internet grew, the question of the layman is, who is controlling all of this?
No, it grew beyond
everybody. But in the beginning, there was points of control.
Yes.
And you were that point of control for the administrative thing for Nigeria. And that is quite historic. That means you were right there at what people call today the launch of the fourth industrial revolution.
Yes.
What have you noticed as it has grown in its good and its bad? Some people hate it, some people love it.
I would say that, just as you've said, it has the good and the bad, but there's a lot more good than bad.
Okay.
In the issue of connectivity, in the issue of the internet. The internet has made life so easy for many people all over the world, particularly for us in Nigeria. Those that would ordinarily have been underserved, those that would have been the less privileged, whether you're in the village, you are here, you are there. We just discovered that with the use of the internet, you practically can do virtually everything that everybody is doing elsewhere. So if that is the case, then it means that it has brought quite a lot of advantage to our communications, to our businesses. I know quite a number of young people. I'm sure we're going to get to that discussion.
Yeah, because that is your passion.
What I make young people do with the use of the internet. Young people are selling, they are buying, they are in school, they are doing various kinds of things just because they have access to the internet, and then because of the facilities that are available by reason of the internet. So over the years, of course, the internet has also brought all kinds of troubles, some high-level fraud, all kinds of things that could happen because people are not just looking at all the good that you have on the internet. They also want to hack into systems. They want to steal money. They want to do different kinds of things.
But this is the evil nature of man. It's not the problem of the tool itself. Because if it's a knife, it will be used to cook in the kitchen.
Oh, yes.
But the next minute, somebody will pick it up and stab somebody. And that doesn't mean the knife is wicked in itself.
Oh, no.
It's just the sinful nature of man. But you have found a way to redeem this particular platform. Tell us a bit about what you do with the youth. I know a bit of it, the fact that you organize camps where you empower youth with this tool of the internet. Tell us a bit where this started from and how that has helped in nation building.
Well, we have had over the years not less than 5,000 children put together that we bring every summer. From the year 2000, we'll bring children together, and then we'll bring computers. When it was carrying very heavy
ones, I still remember those ones.
We'll bring the computers. Each child has a computer to sit by, and then you have an assignment. You have something to do. They were writing programs. We started with writing programs.
The technical stuff of it.
Writing Fortran, writing COBOL, all kinds of things that we will teach them. But we will teach teach them the basic things that they can do during vacation.
Okay.
And then once they are able to do that, then we teach them to create their own website and learn how to create websites. And then with the website, we are addressing issues, topical issues around us at any particular time. I remember we did at a time, we focused on agriculture, that what can the internet do for you in agriculture? What can the internet do for you in fighting corruption in the country, for example? We did that way back in 2004. In West Africa, we had a meeting in 1998 when we were looking at what would be the future of information technology in the West African community.
Yeah.
Our study showed us that we needed to put emphasis on women and children, and that if we do that, then we will be able to have the kind of results that we're looking forward to. And that was what gave birth to the Digital Pairs International, the non-governmental organization that we have been running since that time. And what we've been doing every summer is to bring together children, apart from helping women, especially business women, small businesses, not something extraordinary. Small businesses, helping them to know that they can actually automate some parts of their systems.
Giving them those tools.
Giving them all the things that they need to know so that they can actually move their business from just being at the level of the local community to the global community. And we have quite a number of examples of people that are doing so well as we have it. Right in their rooms. They tell you that they don't need a job because they're good where they are.
This is actually empowering them in the space where they are through these technologies that are available. So God has put you into a unique space where he has granted you this gift, but you've translated it into something that is helping so many people. How did your walk with Christ bring you to that point? Did God say something to you?
Yes, one of the critical things that we go through is that our ministry is a ministry for young people, is a ministry for youth. We encounter young people at various levels. Some of them, they're like touts that we pick from the park, and we bring them home. And we've discovered over the years that you can actually transform the life of a person. There's one that you would have thought was a lunatic.
Yeah.
They thought he was crazy.
The one of the people you picked up.
Yes, and he came out, right now he's a chartered accountant.
Wow, wow, praise God, praise God, praise God.
We have so many of
testimonies.
Any time in a typical time and season in the home of the auditioners, you have like 11 people.
Wow.
You have like 17 people.
This is empowerment to the highest level. God
proves that from level to level, whatever is required, he will provide. And he has done that faithfully over the years.
That is so wonderful. You know what? We're going to take a short break. Okay. When we come back, I want to dig into this passion because I look at how busy you are in the different places you are as a permanent secretary and all the different things you run. And I wonder, where do you get the time? Where does the strength come from? Viewers at home, audience here, we'll take a short break. And when we come back, we will continue with this very stirring interview with Mrs. Ibukun Odushote. Don't go away. Hi there. This program is made possible by the generous donations of people like you who believe in our vision. Our passion is to be Christ-centered as well as Afrocentric as we discuss the issues that face us in Africa so as to equip and challenge African believers like you to be salt and light right in their neighborhood. Your gifts to this ministry can make a huge difference. I encourage you to prayerfully consider partnering with us today. Please go to our website to find out how you can give today. Thank you in advance for your support. Welcome back, dear viewers and our audience in the studio, to this second segment of my interview with Reverend Mrs. Ibukun Odushote. Before we left, Sister Ibukun, we were on the issue of just empowering people and how you found that just by giving these tools to people, we can make a lot of difference. And is this an area you feel churches can come on board?
Oh, yes, extremely. And quite a number of churches have started doing that. I know of churches that all that you need is to move near the church. They provide Wi-Fi.
For free?
For free.
To all the community?
All the community.
Wow.
People they come close to the church. All that you need to know is to be able to know what is the access to the church. And that means that maybe you come to church and you're able to get a bulletin.
Yeah, and they tell you
that this is the access to the internet, but they change it from time to time so that they're not providing access to the whole city. You know, those are resources that we need to throw into the hands of people. But as we are also doing that, there are restrictions that we need to apply so that people would also not abuse the facility and the opportunities that are granted to them. And then we also have virtual churches, and in virtual churches, we also conduct trainings.
Yeah.
I know the last time in my church, in Foursquare Gospel Church at Sokoro, we had a training with the facilitator, was in Lagos, and we were in Abuja, and we listened to her, we interacted with her, we asked questions, she answered questions, all online.
So we could have left you in Abuja and just done this interview without stressing you.
I could have done this
if
interview.
Our technology level was high enough.
That's all that is required. And we've done a lot of that. We've done a lot of that. I've sent messages, I've sent interactions to Japan, to Hong Kong, to different places.
And you'll be able to interact at the same time.
Room.
Okay.
And I can interact with the people. We can do whatever we need to do. That would have reduced our travels, our commuting,
and taking
the
message far away.
And it will help us in doing whatever we want to do.
Do you think we're making the most of it in terms of the evangelization we're called to do? Are we making the most of it, or are there some simple places we should focus on if we want to be much more, engaged in using these technologies now in terms of spreading the gospel?
In sincerity, I would say that we need to focus. We need to be more strategic in what we're doing. What I would say I see more often than not are just information, most of the time information that are not even required. We're just talking about programs that we have and this and this. All that we're still doing is come. Come to church, come to this, come to that, rather than reaching out to the people with the message that is required. So we still need to do a lot more along those lines. Quite a number of churches are coming up and reaching out to people and helping people, empowering young people via the internet, and they're doing a fantastic
job. So we need to sit down first of all and say, what's our strategy?
What's the strategy?
And how do we get out the message?
Yes.
We should stop seeing it as just a signboard where we say, come to my church, and see it as a gateway into the hearts of people, and begin to strategically look at it in that way and say, how do we intentionally use this to get the message out? Because sometimes people think it's too superficial, but you're saying it's no longer a superficial thing.
No.
It gets the message out.
Yes.
It can transform people.
The moment you know that a message in Nigeria within 1 hour, 2 hours, can actually cause chaos in the country, it tells you that when you also have a good message, it can do exactly the same thing.
People are concerned about social media especially, which falls into this domain, and the fact that you can't verify what is passing around. What is your rule of thumb in terms of, if you would share with our audience, since you are right in the space of it, for a Christian, what is the rule of thumb you would propose?
Well, the very first thing is that where is this coming from? Number two is that, is this true? Because you can actually know when some things are true, when they are not true.
Most people say they can't. People say they can't.
One, if it is something that is Christian, does it obey the rule of the Bible?
Okay, is it biblical?
If it is something about Nigeria, does it obey the Constitution?
Okay.
Is that for real? Is that possible? Is that? And then, if we are Christians, we have the Spirit of God. We also should check with our spirit, what is my spirit saying concerning this matter? And then if we are academics, we should know what is for real, what is possible scientifically, what is possible, what is not possible. When all that has failed, we know that then we should be skeptical in passing it.
Yeah.
We don't share when we are not sure. And then if you know the kind of person that you are, like if I share something as permanent secretary of a federal institution, people tend to believe it. That where is it coming from? It's coming from top level.
Yeah.
So you won't find me share what I cannot verify.
Fine.
I must verify. I must be very sure. And I've had occasions that somebody has shared something, has sent it to me, and I've said, let me ask this person. I made a phone call. You wrote it as though I said, I met somebody, I went somewhere, and this happened. She said, oh no, she just got it from somebody, and then she forwarded it. I said, please stop. Don't ever do that.
I know, Sister Odushote, the thing is that in the past, before social media, as a Christian, we used to be weary of gossip.
Yes.
We used to say, I don't want to gossip. But now, electronically, we
are full-time gossip. We are full-time gossip.
You know, when it comes to real life, before we trained ourselves from Proverbs saying, hey, you don't gossip. But, and that is, we need to know that the virtual life, it's no different from the real life. Because real harm can be done with the wrong information.
Even more serious harm can be done. You can actually put a whole house, a whole city, a whole country on fire by one single message. If you're not passing a message across as Christians, please don't do it. You only pass what would edify. Will it edify the people?
Will it build people up?
Will it build people up? If you are sharing, they are cutting the heads of people off. What do you want people to achieve by that? Hate, trouble, annoyance, all kinds of indignation. That's what will come out of that.
So we should be intentional.
No, you want to be intentional.
You know, you're saying something, staring something in my heart, that what would Paul, the apostle, do if he was here today? I believe he will have a WhatsApp account.
Yes,
and I believe he will be very intentional.
Yes.
He will use it because it's a road that God has provided. So you're saying if we're not intentional, if we're just playing with it, it doesn't work. Please go on.
It doesn't work. Don't wake up early in the morning and all that you're sharing as hate speeches are things that will scatter environments. You want to say things that can edify, and don't even overdo the edification, because sometimes you are also not intentional, because you are not genuine, you are not original. Let it be that God ministered something to you and you're sharing. I tell quite a number of people, don't share this with me because I've got it from many angles.
Yeah.
Don't just recycle messages. If you have a message, pass it. Otherwise, don't bother doing that. Just be. Let's just be consistent and disciplined. Discipline in particular. You need discipline on social media.
You know, that's what we would say normally outside of the virtual space. We would say, don't speak if you don't have something to say.
Yes.
And we've learned over time that you look like a fool if you just keep opening your mouth and saying anything. But when it comes to the social media, we actually just feel, just pass the next message across without thinking,
in fact,
it's not my message.
We violate the privacy of people. We do all kinds of things because you have access to a big man in quotes, number, WhatsApp number. You now start bombarding
and
such a person with all kinds. No, you don't need all that. So you concentrate on things that are needful. If you're not passing a message across as Christians, please don't do it. You only pass what would edify. Will it edify the people?
Will it build people up?
Will it build people up? If you are sharing, they are cutting the heads of people off. What do you want people to achieve by that? Hate, trouble, annoyance, all kinds of indignation. That's what will come out of that.
So we should be intentional.
No, you want to be intentional.
You know, you're saying something, staring something in my heart, that what would Paul, the apostle, do if he was here today? I believe he will have a WhatsApp account.
Yes,
and I believe he will be very intentional.
Yes.
He will use it because it's a road that God has provided. So you're saying if we're not intentional, if we're just playing with it, it doesn't work. Please go on.
It doesn't work. Don't wake up early in the morning and all that you are sharing are hate speeches, are things that will scatter environments. You want to say things that can edify, and don't even overdo the edification, because sometimes you are also not intentional, because you are not genuine, you are not original. Let it be that God ministered something to you and you're sharing. I tell quite a number of people, don't share this with me because I've got it from many angles.
Yeah.
Don't just recycle messages. If you have a message, pass it. Otherwise, don't bother doing that. Just be. Let's just be consistent and disciplined. Discipline in particular. You need discipline on social media.
You know, that's what we would say normally outside of the virtual space. We would say, don't speak if you don't have something to say.
Yes.
And we've learned over time that you look like a fool if you just keep opening your mouth and saying anything. But when it comes to the social media, we actually just feel, just pass the next message across without thinking, in fact, it's not my message.
We violate the privacy of people. We do all kinds of things because you have access to a big man in quotes, number, WhatsApp number. You now start bombarding
and
such a person with all kinds. No, you don't need all that. So you concentrate on things that are needful. And I just would want to say that not just to Nigerians, to the church in particular. Everywhere. When you wake up, what we are told that is that we should wake up in the morning and command the day and tell the day spring to take its place. That's what the Bible tells us to do. Instead of spending your whole time commanding WhatsApp and telling Facebook where to face. No, that's not what we are supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be praying. Then when we pray, when we open the scriptures and God says something to us, there's a rhema that we've just received. When you share that, people will tell you how it has blessed them.
You know what we are going to do? We're going to pause for this week, and we're going to continue our conversation in a part B of this, because there's so much more I want to dig into, and I think it warrants us going to next week. I want to dig into your work with couples and just your passion for the youth, and we have not touched that because there's so much unrest among the youth.
That's the real me.
That's the real you. So all these ones we've been talking about is the
other life.
That's the ground floor. So I want to get to the real you. Okay, this is where we'll pause for this week. Like I said, there's so much to unpack. We'll come back next week with a part 2 of my interview with Reverend Mrs. Ibukun Odushote, who is a permanent secretary in the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment in Nigeria. So we'll see you next week, and we'll continue from where we stopped. Okay, here is where we draw the curtain this week. Please don't miss the second part of my interview with Mrs. Odushote on healing for marriages. See you next week. Bye-bye. Next week on Chimstalk Africa, Mrs. Odushote shares about their inspiring work with married couples, as well as a conviction that no marriage is too far gone or too bad to be restored by God.
We always say that you go through the full cycle of seasons.
Before you get married?
Before you get married. The seasons. You must go through summer, you must go through autumn, you must go through winter, you must go through spring. That's the 4 seasons. The 4 seasons.
Next week on Chimstalk Africa.
This program is made possible by the generous financial support of believers just like you, who share our heart to equip the African church to engage the issues facing our continent. Your financial support will help us continue this important work. If you feel led to give to this ministry, please visit our website today.